Footwork is a key element in tennis. And if you think about it, the best players in the world are the best movers. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and now Sinner, Alcaraz, Medvedev, Zverev. Footwork is generally what the players are the least inclined to work on. For two reasons, because it's tiring and because it's challenging. But trust me, a 10% improvement on your footwork can lead you to a 100% improvement on your overall game. So it's worth doing the job. Tennis is a very energetic sport in which you don't have to only reach the ball, but also reach it in the best possible conditions so you can hit the shot with quality and accuracy. In this masterclass, we're going to go through 7 different elements to have the best possible footwork. And remember, with only a 10% improvement on your footwork, you're going to get a 100% improvement on your overall game. So let's start. Okay, big part of the footwork is your posture. You can't move well if your posture is not right. And in tennis, you're not standing still like this. You have a special posture, and this is something that is extremely important, and this is a mistake that a lot of players do. So let's go through this posture. The first thing that is very important is the distance between your feet. As you can see, I have a small distance between my feet. If someone's pushing me, I can't resist. Of course, in tennis, nobody's gonna push you. But two things are gonna still push you. The ball of the opponent, with the power, with the spin, with the depth, you might be pushed back and you have to resist that. And the second thing that you have to fight against is your own speed. When you move fast, if you want to stop, your movement is pushing you out and you need to resist that in order to stop, be balanced and come back. Now, if there is a big distance, I exaggerate the distance between my feet, and someone wants to push me, he's going to have trouble pushing me. Why is that important? Because you're going to move fast from side to side and you need to be balanced. If you are too high, with not enough distance between your feet, you won't be able to stop, you won't be able to be balanced. And also, if you want to move side to side, the best way to move fast is to have the best possible posture with a good distance between your feet. What's the right distance between your feet? As I explained in many of my videos, there is a way to know what's the right distance between your feet. It's by putting the racket on the ground. If I drop my racket on the ground, I put one foot on one side of the racket and the second one on the other side, I have the right distance between my feet. Is that a good posture for tennis? No. Why? Something's missing. The thing that is missing is my legs. I need to bend them. Okay, now I bend my legs. Do I look like a tennis player? A little bit more. If I take back my racket, I totally look like it. That's how all the professional players are moving and standing. Do they go up? Not really. They can sometimes jump on a shot, but when they land again, they're again in that position all the time. It's like if they had a roof over their head and they can't go up. And if you see them play, you'll find out that they are constantly in that position. Do you see how I move? Was I having all my foot on the ground? No. I was on my front foot. I'm never having all my shoe on the ground. Why? For the simple reason, when my foot is this way, I'm able to move much faster, change direction, go forward. It's ideal to move fast in any direction. If you are on the whole foot, then it takes time to move forward on your front foot and then start to move. You're losing time, you can't lose time. So you're always on your front foot, except when you hit the shot. This is the only moment when you need stability with all of your shoe on the ground. The balance when you hit the shot is going to be one of the 7 points we're going to go through today. So I'll go back to that later. The second key element in the footwork is the balance. Balance is key. I explained already, balance is what gives you the possibility to be accurate, gives you also the possibility to transfer your body weight in the right direction. Being balanced is having the upper body, if I draw a line here, always centered in the middle of your hips. Here it's centered, here it's not centered, here it's not centered. but here is centered. The best players in the world are always centered. I mean, probably the best one ever is Roger, who was always centered throughout his career. And if you think about it, that's probably one of the only players who never fell on grass. And that's the reason why. He never fell, because he was always centered. Even in the most extreme position, he was finding a way to be having the upper body centered between his hips. The two other key elements for balance are the foot fully on the ground, so not on the front of your foot anymore, not on the heels, definitely not, but both of your shoes fully on the ground. And the third element is a bit surprising because it creates a little bit of unbalance that is necessary. And for that, I will ask you to come to the side so I can show you better. The third element of the balance is the angle between the upper body and the lower body. Let me put myself in position to hit a forehand. At the moment, the angle is 180 degrees. You can draw a line between the upper body and the lower body. Am I balanced? Yes. Is it ideal? No. Now I create an angle backwards, just a little bit. I pull my shoulders a little bit back. Am I balanced? No. Where is my body weight going? Backwards. Is it ideal? Not at all. I won't be able to transfer any power through the ball. I will have only my arms because all my body weight is going in that direction. So what's the ideal angle? It's an angle forward. If I push my hips back a little bit, my upper body naturally goes forward, and this is ideal. Because in that position, when I'm gonna hit the ball, my hand that's gonna pass is working with my upper body. So I transfer the weight of my body through the ball. Am I completely balanced? No, I'm a little bit leaning forward, but it's a good thing in tennis because when you lean forward, all the power of your upper body transfers. So this is completely ideal. Let me show you with the backhand. We can do the same. Perfectly balanced. Here, an angle that is pushing my body weight backwards. Now I push my hips back and I lean more on my front leg. My body weight is naturally going forward, and now I'm in a perfect position to transfer my body weight through my shot. So on the backhand and on close stance, so we've seen with the open stance that it's about pushing your upper body a bit forward. When we are in close stance, it is more about putting the weight on the front leg. So how much you bend your leg will define how much body weight you're putting into the ball. Here I put zero body weight. Here with a little more angle I put a bit of body weight. Now if I really go strong here and I go, my knees goes a bit further front, now I have a lot of body weight, a lot. And you see, I'm losing balance forward. That's the only direction where you're allowed to lose balance. What I just showed you with the forehand and the backhand was just to explain that you have two kinds of stances. Basically, I mean, it's actually technically not true. There are three: open stance, semi-open, and closed stance. Open stance, it's really about having the upper body forward and having this kind of angle. With semi-open or closed, it's more about the front leg and more about how much angle you will have on your leg. The more your knee is forward, the more you're leaning through the ball and the more transfer you're gonna have. So if you are semi-open, you have to push your knee forward before hitting the ball. And same with the backhand. Coming back to having the upper body centered between your hips, there is a very common mistake, is to reach out to the ball with the upper body. Look, when I do, I'm losing balance. I'm not centered anymore. That's very important, to go and reach out to the ball with your legs and get as close to the ball as you can, and never reach out with your racket unless you have no time and no other option. One exercise is great to work on that is to catch the ball with two hands. Keep your elbows bent like this, and you have to go and catch the ball. Pop! Pop! Once you've done that exercise, keeping this angle and catching the balls here and there, take your racket and do the same, and never let yourself reach out with the racket, but just go close to the ball and hit. In extreme cases, you have no other option. For example, return of serve, you're here. The serve is really short and slicey, so you move, but at certain moment the ball is already here and it's too far. So you have no other option than to reach out with your racket. You have to. So of course you're going to reach out with your racket forward, and at the moment you do, you are unbalanced. As you see, my upper body is not between my hips, it's on my right leg. So I'm unbalanced. What am I going to do? What is very important is to accept to make one more step, which has to look like this. I hit the ball and then boom, boom. And what's happening now? Again, I have my upper body between my hips. So when I'm in this position, it's ideal to recover and move back. I'm finally balanced and I can push on my leg to come back as fast as possible. So when you are unbalanced, because you have no other option as you're reaching out with your racket instead of your legs, the extra step, you hit your shot and then boom, boom, make sure you rebalance right after being unbalanced. The next step, the goal is to rebalance and stop and get ready for the next one. Think about it, you can be incredibly balanced, you can be incredibly fast, you can have the best technique of movement on court, and still you can be in trouble all the time and think that you're not fast enough. Why? Because you're not placed in the right spot when the opponent hits the ball. Where shall you be placed on the court when your opponent is hitting the ball? The rule is very simple. You always have to be placed in the center between the best two shots that your opponent can hit. So if you drew two lines of the two best possible shots of your opponent, and you think about one line that is the exact middle of it, in the same distance between both of it, this is where you should be placed every time. The two best shots are the down the line and a shorter cross. The center is not in the middle. It's to the right. It's around here. When you play cross, this is where you should always be placed. Now, when you play down the line, the ball is at the exact opposite side of the center. So you have, after your shot, to move fast and be at the same distance from the center that you were on the other side. That's why every time you play down the line, you have to move, stop, and the moment your opponent hits the ball, you have to be there. If you are on your way there, you're in trouble. First of all, because if he plays cross, you probably won't reach it or be in trouble. And second, while you're moving, you're in danger because you are simply because you're moving. So if the player plays behind you, you will have to first stop, which will take time, and then come back, and you'll be late again. So one of the key elements is wherever you play, you have to be placed when your opponent hits the ball at the right spot. And you have to move fast from one spot to the other, because the moment he hits the ball, you have to be there and you have to be balanced and ready to go anywhere. Now you know how to stand, you know where to stand. Let's talk about how to move, especially when you're chasing a ball. There is one misconception about movement. A lot of people, and especially leisure players, think you have to shuffle to go to the ball. This is not the right way to move to the ball. This is the right way, might be the right way to recover, but not to move to the ball. I'm going to show you exactly how to run to the ball. We're starting from that position. The ball goes to my forehand. What do I do? First thing I do, I open my shoulders. I prepare. My right hand is going backwards, which automatically turns my shoulders. And once I'm in that position, I'm going to run like you run without the racket. It's the same. The only difference is your racket is behind here and you move towards the ball. And you stop and you play. I show you one more time. Pull your hand behind, open your shoulders, run and hit. Let's do the same with the backhand. I pull my hand behind, I run, up, boom, up, and I come back. So don't try to do something complicated. It's simple. One thing that is very important, if you look at the sprinters that run the 100 meters, the first steps are small steps. And once they get going, the steps become bigger and bigger. So the first 2 steps, don't try to go big. If you go big with your steps, you're gonna be slow. It's much more efficient to go with pa, 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 and then you accelerate. While you accelerate, you can have bigger steps because the machine is on. So always start with small steps when you want to run to the side. Same with the backhand, you turn and pa, pa, pa. Yeah, at the end, you can have big steps. I just show you how to move east to west. Now I want to show you how to move south to north. It's actually the same, but I just need to demonstrate it. Why is it the same? Because you're gonna run normal. First thing you're gonna do again is open your shoulders, then run, stop, hit. I do it one more time with the backhand so you can see both sides. It's exactly the same. I'm here, my opponent is playing shorter. I'm not gonna wait for the ball. I'm gonna always move forward to the ball. I turn my shoulders, then I run, I stop, I hit. That's a perfect introduction to what I call the magnet move. The magnet move is the movement forward. So of course, when the ball is very short, naturally you have to move forward. But a lot of times the ball is shorter than very close to the line. It's maybe 1 meter, maybe 1.5 meters inside. And most of the players will wait for the ball to come to them. The magnet move is the opposite thing. If my 2 hands are 2 magnets, they're both attracted by each other. They both come to each other. Now, if this magnet is the ball and the ball comes to me, I have to be the other magnet and come to the ball. Come reach the ball. Another way to explain it is just to get closer to the bounce. If the bounce is here, I'm gonna go meet the bounce. I'm gonna go meet the ball. The ball comes to me, I come to the ball. Every single time. That's how you develop a very aggressive game with much more security. The number of steps you can make forward, you do. If it's 1, just make 1. If it's 2, make 2. You know what? The opponent is dropping depth. He could play here and then you'll be in trouble. You will even have to move back to play. He can play here. If I'm standing behind the baseline, maybe I can make 1 step, small one. But listen, you can play here. Whatever it gives me, because it drops depth, I take it. You want to play shorter? You give me space, I take the space. Boom, I come here, boom. He plays even shorter, I'll do 2 steps. Boom, 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 bam. Whatever he drops, I take. This is the magnet move. Develop that, you'll be a different player, different level. This is a key in tennis. Now, the magnet move also applies to when you're moving to the sides. And when you're able to use the magnet move in any situation, moving forward straight or moving forward to the sides, then you're a different player of a different level. So let me come back behind the baseline. Oh, a ball is coming. No problem, it's part of the video. Using the magnet move, moving to the side, means moving like a V. Most of the players, before they reach a very high level, will always run parallel to the baseline. They go here, they play, the ball is on the other side, they always follow the baseline with the distance. Now the top players never move like this. They move like this if they have no choice. They move like this if the opponent hits the ball here, so close to the line and on the side. But if, for example, the opponent hits with more angle and shorter, if they run to the side, they're gonna end up playing the ball so far out, they have no chance to come back and they have no chance to hit a great shot. So the magnet move when you're moving to the side is basically being able to cut this trajectory of the ball that pulls you out. And if you're able to come inside and cross the baseline to hit the shot, you'll probably end up playing here rather than being so far out. And here from that position, you can even be aggressive. And here's the V. This is how I move. Here, here. It consists in cutting the baseline with your legs every time you can, rather than following the baseline. I cut the baseline. It is running here, coming back, and cutting the baseline again, boom, and coming back. This is the magnet move, moving east to west. Now let's talk about how you recover after a movement and a shot. It starts right after you hit your shot. And it stops when you are reaching the spot that you're supposed to be at when your opponent is hitting the ball. Imagine a movement to the forehand where you have to go not too far. Okay, you have just 2 steps. 2 steps, you hit your shot, you're able to stop on this one, boom, maybe with a little extra step. That's good. The idea after your shot is to stay as close as possible to the initial moment you're hitting the ball. Boom, boom. Now the extra step when you are moving much further to the side. Preparation, I run, I hit, 1, 2, and I come back. Okay, now I'm going to show you with close stance, so I make it simple. Preparation, 1, 2, as I'm going to be in close stance, my intern leg comes in front instead of my external one. Once I'm here, I hit the ball, and then my other leg comes forward to the side and stops. And then I can come back. Now let's have a longer movement. So more speed, more difficult to stop, and I will need 1 extra step. I'm going to show you how. Same start, the ball comes, I prepare, I run. I hit the ball, and then I go left, right, left. Of course, if I can stop on my first one, that's ideal, but with that speed, it's not going to be that easy. So you need this extra step. So once you hit the ball, left, not enough to stop, my body's still moving, so I go left, right. And here it's very important to be balanced always. If you're balanced and your foot is in opposition to the direction of your body weight, then you're able to really stop and push on that leg to come back. Now let's focus on how to come back. Which kind of movement, which kind of footwork with your legs. Are you running? Are you shuffling? What's the best? So here's the thing, there are 2 options. Again, you're very far from the spot you're supposed to be at. It's a long way to go. The only way to have a chance to get there is to run. Then it's simple. Open your shoulders and run. In general, when you're in that situation, you just have to anticipate the shot of the opponent. Now, if you're not that late and you have a good chance to be back to the right spot, after your shot, as we said, you end up blocking with your foot. You block, you lower your leg, you're balanced, and you're ready to go back. How do we go back? First thing to do, you have always an external leg. The one that is external, you're gonna push on it. While you push on it, your body weight naturally goes here. And what you're gonna do with your feet is having this leg pass in front of the other one. So I finished my shot, I stopped, I push here, here, here. Look how much I have traveled already just with 1 step. It's crazy. Here, boom, boom. Then I get finally close to the spot I want to be at. So what you do in general, unless you need to be faster, then you go for another one. Otherwise you end up by shuffling. If you're still far, I'll go with 2. I'm here, up, and I'm here. 7th and last point of this masterclass about footwork is about running around the backhand, which is a shot that is used by all the top players without any exceptions, even all the guys that have a better backhand than forehand, for a simple reason, because when you run around your backhand, you're in a position of control of the whole court. Your vision is perfect. You have intention of play because you made the effort to run around your backhand to control the court, and you can go and open the court and control it. That's why all the guys run around their backhand to play forehand. A lot of players go, first of all, don't prepare, go with a lot of steps like this, or even worse, shuffle around the backhand. It's so slow and they end up being in a very weird and bad position to hit their forehand. Sometimes they're even noisy. Doing this, they're losing so much time, and it can be so fast. And the faster you are to move around the backhand, even the more time you have to go forward and engage your body weight through the ball and hit a much better shot. So you have to be fast all the time in tennis. Be fast, and then you give yourself time, and this time you use to take the ball earlier or transfer better forward. Okay, so now how to run around the backhand. First thing to do, pull your right hand behind and your arm in the direction of the ball or to the side, depending if you're right or left eye dominant. But again, hand back, shoulders turned. First thing to do. But the difference when you run around your backhand is while you do that, you move your leg, your right leg at the same time. And you don't move it backwards like your hand, you cross the other leg, but behind it. So this leg goes here. It doesn't go here, it goes behind the other leg and with the hand together. 1, 2. If I show you faster, look how much space I've already created. It's so fast. You are moving around the backhand as a circle. You don't move that way, because if you move that way, you might end up being too close to the ball. It's important to create space so that you can come forward again. How do you do it? The way I just showed you. Here, and then forward. Boom. As you understood, footwork is very diverse, very complex. There are a lot of situations, and it needs to be mastered because, again, 10% improvement brings 100% improvement in your overall game. So find a friend of yours that wants to get that extra 10% also as you, and you guys can work on that together. One can be the one feeding the balls, the one working, and you need to work every different situations. First with the basket at a slow pace, then at a higher pace. It's really, really worth the work because the change you're going to see in your game is going to be huge. Good luck and give me your feedback, please. During this masterclass, I talked about 2 masterclasses that you can find on my YouTube channel. One is about the dominant eye and the consequences on your technique that you have to apply. The second one is about the basic of tactics that are so important to compete during matches. So if you're interested, you can find them on my YouTube channel. Lastly, I want to say a big thank you to Kooyong. We practiced and I did all these moments, special moments here in Kooyong in an amazing club. Listen, this was the place where the Australian Open was held for so many years. It's a historical place, unbelievably big, unbelievably historical. We've been lucky to be able to shoot here. I want to thank the president of the club, the CEO of the club, and the members for being so kind and letting us shoot here. And if you have an occasion and you're on holidays in Melbourne, you have to visit that club.